Right, hello, welcome to this quick little video. Hopefully it'll be fairly quick. It's going to be the first one I've ever spoken about on this channel. Typically, as you can see from the channel's name, this is just a gameplay channel, specifically emulation, or not specifically, but overwhelming majority emulation. And the reason why I wanted to make this video and do a little talky video the first time ever is because of Red Dead Redemption, or more so because Rockstar didn't want to port Red Dead Redemption properly to us. Obviously, I'm not going to go into the fact that it's only on PS4 and Switch, but at least that's better than what PC users have had in the past, trying to make do with Xenia and the PlayStation emulator, PlayStation 3. Anyway, this video is to show that you can actually get Red Dead Redemption. The Switch version is recommended here, running upscale 4K and 60 seconds smooth. And I say smooth because there are a few little finite details that you would probably not think about doing. And what I will do is get on with the tutorial and it will all become known there. So what you first need to do is make sure you pick the right emulator for Switch. Now, there are two. You are going to see my screen here a little bit. So what I do is close it down for a second. So there are two. I recommend you go and get this one. Ryujinx. I never know how to say that, so I had to scroll down there. I'm not going to tell. This isn't a setup video for that. This is for someone who already knows how to set up their emulator. And this is specifically for Red Dead Redemption. If you wanted other setup videos, then please leave a comment and I can run through some more basic stuff. But what you want to do is download this, make sure you've got your game file at hand as well, and make sure that the emulator is running. You can't just run it, you need a few other files as well. But once you've got that up and running, obviously you'll want to boot into it, which I'm doing now. You'll then find your game, but before you click on it, you want to go to Options, go to Settings, and then if you look in the Graphics tab, you'll obviously want to make sure you're at 3x, which is 4K. You can go higher if you want, but I've only got a 4K screen to view it on, and I think that gives you your best bang for buck on performance anyway. Then the other key one, you can mess around with some of these filters if you want, and post-processing effects. However, I prefer it just left off, the upscale on bilinear, and I would recommend you keep everything else the same. The one other key thing that you then need to go back and do is in where is it? In the system menu, I couldn't find it there for a second. Make sure you have enable VSync turned off. Now, what VSync does for this game in particular is locks you to your 30 frames per second, and it keeps the screen smooth and consistent, and is essentially like you're playing a Switch, but upscale to 4K. So if you want to do that, fine. That's the easiest way of doing it. However, when you turn this off, it will boost to actually over 60. The problem is it will also induce a lot of screen tearing. You won't be able to get a clean, crisp image. Moving the camera up and down, left and right, spinning around, you'll get loads and loads of screen tearing. So I also recommend this other step, which I'm going to talk you through now. But make sure you do this first before you then do anything, or before you do any of the further steps. So make sure those are enabled. You've upscaled in your graphics tab. You've turned VSync off here in your systems tab. And then what I want you to do, you must have a Nvidia graphics card. Probably should have said that at the start. Sorry, AMD or Intel users. You've got to have an Nvidia. You might be able to do it on other systems, but this is the only way I can do it. So you'll want to open up the control panel. Now, that's not GeForce Experience. Make sure it is the control panel. Then go to Manage 3D Settings. Leave your global settings and go to Program Settings. Here, you'll want to click on the Add button and then find where your Ryujinx exe is stored, and basically add the program. You'll then see you'll have all these settings. Typically, I leave them all on as standard default, which is basically what the global settings are. I turn the low latency mode on rather than it being set to global. Make sure you turn it on. And then also max frame rate here, this is where you limit it to 60. This is really important. Make sure you turn it on and limit it to 60. Without this being on, as I said, and VSync being disabled, it was boosting over to 65, 67, which sounds good, but it then was also being throttled back to about 54, 55, and was being really inconsistent. So locking it to 60 meant there were no more lows, there were no more highs going past that, and it was smooth sailing on 60. The other very key aspect you need to do, I don't really know how this makes any sense, turn threaded optimization, set that to off, and then turn vertical sync in this menu to on. Now remember, we turned it off on the actual app. This then applies it in some way that technically I don't understand. I would have thought it just overrid the app and had it on as default, but it doesn't. If you leave this off, you're going to get screen tearing. So make sure you turn that on, and then make sure you hit apply and save. I haven't changed my settings, so I can't do that. Apply and save, and then basically you're good to go. I'd recommend you also install the title update. So there's a very small update. It is still version 0, which is a bit unusual because usually they then become 0.1 or 1.0. But anyway, make sure you've got that installed, and then you're good to go. What you should do, if I open this up now, it will open in a windowed mode. You can open it straight into full screen if you want, but what you'll see here is the VSync will be turned off still in the app. The red lighting here will leave you as VSync off, although in the control panel we've got it turned on. So I think that is what helps with the smoothing of the screen tearing. And here you can also check you've got the handheld ×3, and after you get past the intro and loading up, you'll get your smooth 60 frames per second. And that's basically it. Hopefully that wasn't a very long video. It didn't need to be long, and hopefully it's helped everybody. I'll just leave some gameplay here so you can actually see what it's like running in some more action environment, action-packed scenes, so you can just see that I am actually, what I've said works here, and I'm not just making stuff up. Bear in mind that I do have a good GPU. It's a 3070. However, we're not taxing it out to 100%. You can see the percentages here aren't anywhere near 100. So if you've got a lesser GPU, you still should be able to get good performance out of this. My CPU, again, it is a good CPU. It's i9 10850K. But again, this emulator doesn't really tax the CPU anyway, so you should be alright with just the standard CPU. And as you can see, all running smooth. Hopefully this has helped, and if it has, please leave a like. Subscribe for more gameplay specific videos. Leave some comments if you want me to test other games. Leave some comments if you want me to do some more tutorials on different emulators. Have fun playing Red Dead. I've been waiting years to play this, and I'm going to get stuck into it right now. Cheers, guys.